Hello, a very good morning. Many thanks for joining us for the Friday edition of Sports Today on ABS TV. Sports Splash, we'll call it here as the Friday edition and the last one for the week. My name is Ike Nwokedi. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. And a whole lot to be going down in the world of some sports this weekend. And top on the bill, of course, as Sunday is upon us, there are two great events on Sunday. One is football. One is about the match between Rangers International, expected to take on Heartland FC in the Oriental Derby in Nigeria Premier Football League Match Day 7. Watch out for a fight in Oka. It is called Ofu Solution Fight coming up this Sunday at the X-Fit Oma Event Center. We'll talk about that on the show. Also, we'll be talking about what's going down in Onitsha. We'll have the One Feed Unity Cup is on, and we'll also have the Remy Uche Soccer Challenge Cup is also on. We'll talk about that on the sports show, and then we'll tell you about Formula One. Fernando Alonso is on the show this morning, and then fixtures of league matches across Western Europe are coming up this weekend. Well, let's begin with our first story. Our first story is from Onitsha, and it's all about the third edition of the Remy Uche Soccer Challenge Cup. And let's tell you that the winner of the Season 3 edition of the annual Remy Uche Soccer Challenge Cup is expected to smile home with a sum of 3 million naira, while the first and second runners-up will each settle for 2 million naira, 2 million naira and 1 million naira respectively. This disclosure was made by Austin Nwankwo, the chairman, local organizing committee, LOC, for the competition, talking about the Remy Uche Soccer Challenge Cup during the draw ceremony for the 2023 edition of the Remy Uche Soccer Challenge Cup held on Wednesday, the 1st of November 2023 at the corporate headquarters of the Remy Uche Group Limited at Onitsha. The competition, which is bankrolled by the founder and CEO Remy Uche Group Limited, Chief Surveyor Remigius Uchenna Anyadike Akuchukwu, one of Umudioka, will kick off on Sunday, the 12th of November 2023, and is expected to last for a month with defending champions, the Gods FC, commencing hostilities against Niger Stars FC in Group A, which also has Sankey Stars FC and Upstars FC, as 18 teams are vying for honors for the Season 3. Group B will see Onkoraf FC of Isuanyocha playing against Kamso FC, Volcans FC, and 11 Teachers FC. Peace FC are drawn in Group C alongside Barak Bombers FC, Ochoma FC, Galaxy FC, and Bonfa FC, while Group D has Washington Stars FC, Unity Corp, Unity FC, Flying Horse FC, Mampola FC, and Ozala FC, who lost the finals of the Season 2 edition to the Gods FC. In a chat with reporters, the sponsor, Chief Surveyor Remigius Uchenna Anyadike, stated that the competition, which is in its third year, is aimed at providing a platform for talented young footballers in the state to showcase themselves to the state and beyond, as well as to provide a sporting atmosphere in the state. Anyadike stated. Anyadike revealed that the competition has aided football scouts to discover budding talent, with 3 players who played in the 2022 edition now playing for professional clubs in Europe, 5 more playing in the top tier of Nigeria club football, the Nigeria Premier Football League, NPFL, while one of the competition's product also represented the country at the under-17 level. The competition is geared towards giving talented youth of Anambra State a platform to showcase their God-given talent, seek for greener pastures through football, and create a sporting atmosphere in the state to glory of God. He said this is the 3rd edition of this competition, which has produced a player playing for the national under-17 team. Then we'll have 3 more in Europe, and also some players are playing in the Nigeria Premier Football League. He said for this edition, The winner will go home with 3 million naira, while the second place team is expected to smile home with a 2 million naira, Anyadike stated. And the third place team will smile home with 1 million naira. And there are also other consolation prizes that will be unveiled on the final day, Chief Anyadike stated. The youthful Chief Anyadike also informed that he is set to float his own club, which will be called Remy Uche FC. The Umudioka-born businessman and real estate developer informed that the club will be unveiled come January 2024 as they have completed the necessary affiliation with the Anambra State Football Association, ANSFA, and completed the FIFA Connector program. The GOTS FC of Onitsha defeated Ozala FC of Obosi by 6-5 on penalties in last year's finals after a scoreless affair at the end of a regulation time in a match played on the 30th of October 2022 at the Chubai Bazu Stadium, Onitsha. So the Remy Uche Soccer Challenge Cup is back big and better right now, and watch out for the season 3 edition expected to start next Sunday. And of course the GOTS FC will be defending, they will hope to defend their trophy along against 7 other teams playing in the Remy Uche Soccer Challenge Cup, bankrolled by Chief Surveyor Remy Juice Uchenna Anyadike, the man they call Akozaza. Moving on, let's go elsewhere, still in Onitsha. Let's talk about the One Feeder Unity Cup competition bankrolled by Onitsha ex-footballers in diaspora. Let's tell you that Bonfa FC on Thursday defeated Diamond Stars FC by 3-1 in the opening match of the season 2 of the Onitsha ex-professional footballers in diaspora Unity Cup organized by the Onitsha ex-footballers in diaspora. In the draws earlier held last week, as you can see on your screen, let's tell you that Bonfa FC were drawn in Group A alongside Diamond Stars FC, Fekan FC, and Michael FA. That's a football academy. In Group B, as you're seeing on your screen, Galaxy FC were drawn against Mourinho FC, All Stars FC, Global FC in Group B. And in Group C has Nioj FC, Terik FA, Terik Football Academy, Dynamite Football Academy, and Golden Boys Football Academy. While in Group D, Ozala Football Academy of Obosi will play alongside a United Football Club and Peace FC of Oka. And it may interest you to know that Galaxy FC are the defending champions, and they saw off their opponents in the finals 4-2 via penalties after 1 or a full time, and that was in last year's final. And Peace FC, you could recall, that finished third in the first edition of that championship. And let's tell you that action continues today at the ongoing One Feeder Onitsha ex-players in diaspora football competition. Let's tell you that today Nyoga will take on Terik FC at the Fege Stadium. That match will start by 2:30 p.m. while Galaxy FC will take on Mourinho FC at the Chubai Bazu Stadium by 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. Ozala Football Academy will take on United Football Academy at the Chubai Bazu Stadium. The game is expected to start by 2:30 p.m. while Fekan FC will take on Michael Football Academy at the Fege Stadium by 2:30 p.m. On Sunday, All Stars FC, yes, All Stars FC action will start there as All Stars FC is expected to take on Global FC at the Chubai Bazu Stadium by 2:30 p.m. while Dynamite FC will lock on with Golden Boys at the Fege Stadium, and that match will come up by 2:30 p.m. And of course, it may interest you to know that the winner of the competition is expected to smile home with the sum of 1 million naira. The runners-up will get 500,000 naira, and there is 300,000 naira for the third place team in the competition. And last year's edition was won by Galaxy FC. Galaxy FC, you could recall, defeated Mourinho FC by 4-2 on penalties after 1-1 at the end of 90 minutes. And there's Mourinho FC will be raring to go this time around. So Mourinho FC are drawn in Group B. So watch out for that one. Galaxy FC and Mourinho FC. The winners, the two teams that played in the finals in the last edition, of course, are drawn in Group B. Let's see as it goes this time, and let's see if Galaxy FC will be defending the trophy they won last year. That's it for that one. The One Feed Unity Cup bankrolled by Onitsha ex-footballers in diaspora. Now, let's talk about the Nigeria Premier Football League. The NPFL will return with tantalizing match day 7 actions across the country. That the spotlight is on the game at the Oka City Stadium. That's coming up this Sunday, and it's the match between Rangers International expected to lock horns with Heartland AFC, a match day 7 program of the Nigeria Premier Football League at the Oka City Stadium. Rangers has a 100% record home-wise as at the top of this season. Of course, are winning all their 3 matches, the 3 matches they played at home. On Thursday, that's yesterday, they lost narrowly by 2-1 at the Lafayette City Stadium to Lobby Stars at a match day 6. And we'll be looking forward to seeing off at the Nazi Millionaires come Sunday at the Oka City Stadium. Time for that match is at 4 p.m. Be there at the Oka City Stadium on Sunday for the match between Rangers International, the Flying Antelopes, are taking on Heartland AFC, the Nazi Millionaires. It promises to be a cracker. It is Oriental Derby upon us. Match day 7 program of the Nigeria Premier Football League. Rangers International, Heartland AFC at the Oka City Stadium by 4 p.m. Ensure you are there to see the best of football in Nigeria. Moving on the show, let's tell you that Super Falcons are through to the 3rd round of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games qualifiers after they dispatched Lucy of Ethiopia by 4-0 in the return leg of the second round tie played. That was at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. And the Ethiopians held the Falcons to a 1-0 draw in the first leg played last week in Addis Ababa, and even threatened to create an upset from the build-up to the encounter. And the Lucy of Ethiopia truly matched the Falcons in the early exchanges, and then even had shots on target saved by Chiamaka Nadosie, and the Falcons opened the floodgates of goals in the 44th minute of the game through Uche Nakano. Assistant Oshoala had missed 2 great opportunities to put Nigeria in ascendancy. Before then, the team's skipper Rashidat Ajibade doubled the lead some minutes into the second half, and Oshoala made it 3-0 in the 68th minute before Ajibade's second of the game, and Nigeria's fourth in the 71st minute of the game. And the Falcons will face the winner between Cameroon and Uganda in round 3. Zambia, Tunisia, and South Africa are among the teams that have qualified for the next round of the qualifiers. That's all about the Falcons. Elsewhere, former Ghana captain Asamoah Gyan must pay compensation to his ex-wife after a court ruled on their divorce case and determined he is the biological father of their 3 children. A court in Ghana ordered the 37-year-old to give Gifty Gyan a house in the UK, a house in Accra, and a petrol station, and 2 cars. And former Ghana captain Asamoah Gyan must pay compensation to his ex-wife after a court ruled on their divorce case and determined that he is the biological father of their 3 children. So that's the case for Asamoah Gyan, and that's for the Ghana International, talking about Asamoah Gyan. Let's move on the show. Let's talk about Formula 1 on the show. In Formula 1, Fernando Alonso has made it clear he is annoyed with claims that he could have switched to Red Bull from Aston Martin's. We hear, of course, stories that he could replace Sergio Perez emerged in the wake of last weekend's Mexico City Grand Prix. We hear Alonso say that he was not enjoying it and dismissed the idea as the normal paddock rumors are from people who try to make fun of it and gain some followers. The 2-time world champion added, "I will make sure there are consequences." Alonso did not elaborate on what those might be or whom they might be directed towards. Alonso is under contract to Aston Martin until the end of 2024, and Red Bull team boss and Christian Horner has said it is their intention for Perez, who is also under contract to stay with the team next year. We'll hear Mexico was the latest in a series of difficult races for Perez, who is now only 20 points ahead of 3rd place Lewis Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship. Alonso added that the stories of course served to disrupt his Aston Martin team, who are suffering from a decline in form as the season has progressed already in the F1. And the Spaniard has scored a 6 podium finishes in the first 8 races as Aston Martin's leap to the front became the story of the start of the season we hear. But the team's performance had tailed off dramatically in recent races, and the last one, Mexico, being one of it. Alonso has slipped from 3rd in the Drivers' Championship at this point to 5th and is at risk of losing further positions to McLaren's Lando Norris, Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, and Mercedes' George Russell, and Aston Martin have slumped from 3rd to 5th in the Constructors' Championship. In both the past 2 races in the US and Mexico, a new floor introduced as an upgrade that has been taken off at least one of the cars before the race out there in Formula 1. A whole lot are going down in the game of Formula 1, and Fernando Alonso is not a happy man at this point. Moving elsewhere, let's talk about athletics. Double Olympic 800 meters champion Caster Semenya says her focus is now more about winning battles against the authorities than collecting medals. Semenya, 32 years of age, was born with differences of sexual development, DSD, and cannot compete in female track events without taking testosterone reducing drugs. And the South African wants to hold world athletics to account for discrimination against athletes with hyperandrogenism. In July, the European Court of Human Rights ruled in favor of Semenya in a case related to testosterone levels in female athletes. The case at the ECHR was not against sporting bodies or DSD rules, but specifically against the government of Switzerland for not protecting Semenya's rights, and dates back to a Swiss Supreme Court ruling 3 years ago. The ECHR found the Swiss government did not protect Semenya from being discriminated against when its Supreme Court refused to overturn a decision by the Court of Arbitration for Sports CAS, which upheld the World Athletics rules, and the judgment could yet be appealed. Hyperandrogenism is a medical condition characterized by higher than usual levels of testosterone, a hormone that increases muscle mass and strength, and it helps in athletics. And Caster Semenya says her interest right now is not even to win medals, but to fight the case against world athletics. We'll be watching out for that, and we'll be watching out to see what will transpire in the weeks to come and months to come regarding the South African race runner, talking about Caster Semenya. And now let's talk about tennis on the show. Italian 4th seed Yannick Sinner has withdrawn from the Paris Masters with fatigue. Sinner defeated American Mackenzie McDonald in the 2nd round, but did not start play until after midnight and finish at 2:37 local time on Thursday. And the 22-year-old was scheduled to play Australian Alex Demir in the 3rd round later. That was on Thursday. Mexican world number 1 Novak Djokovic labored to a 4-6, 7-6, 6-4 win over Dutchman Talon Gripspor, and the Serb looked out of sorts and had to come from behind to grind out the victory, but will face a Danish 6th seed Holger Rune in the quarterfinal in the early hours of Thursday morning. Wimbledon semi-finalist Sinner had battled back from losing a first set tie-breaker to beat McDonald 6-7, 7-5, 6-1, but could not face the prospect of playing again just 14 hours later. We hear, and on Tuesday, Dominic Thiem defeated Stanislas Wawrinka at 2022 local hours in what has become far from unusual finishing time in the game of tennis. You're watching Sports Today on ABS TV. We'll go for a short break on the show. When we'll come back, we'll tell you about Liverpool player Diaz. Of course, the kidnapping saga of his father. We'll talk about that on the show. And then also we'll tell you about the One Fight Ultimate street fight coming up this Sunday at the X-Fit and Oma Event Center. And then we'll also talk about league fixtures across Western Europe. And there's a London derby. Tottenham Hotspur on top of the league will take on Chelsea this Sunday. That's in the Premier League. We'll talk about that and lots more on the flip side of Sports Splash. We'll be right back.
Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS. With delight, we bring you the light that we bear through our illustrious leaders. Our icons. Our industrious people. Our rich culture. Our places of pride. And our mouth-watering cuisine. With unbridled professionalism and renewed tenacity, we serve you real-time news, information, entertainment of varied genres with unfettered reach of your clients and customers. AB.
We're back for the second half of the show, Sports Today on ABS TV, the Friday edition. Thank you very much for joining us. In the first half of the show, we told you about the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge. Remi Uche Soccer Challenge, we told you that the draws have been held, and we had the draws happening on Wednesday. That was on the first day of November, and we told you that as part of that draws, that the winner of the third edition of the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge Cup is expected to win 3 million naira, and the runners-up will go home with 2 million naira, while the third place team is expected to smile home with 1 million naira. We told you that the competition is being bankrolled by Umudioka, born real estate developer and businessman, the person of Chief Remigius Uchenna Ayadike, and that competition is expected to start next Sunday, the 12th of November, to be precise. We told you that. We equally told you about the One Feed Unity Cup happening in Onitsha, being organized by Onitsha ex-footballers in diaspora, and we told you how Bonfire FC defeated Diamond Stars by 3-1. We equally showed you the groupings for the match, and we told you that the winner of the competition is expected to smile home with 1 million naira. There is 500,000 naira for the runners-up, and the third place team is expected to go home with a sum of 300,000 naira. We told you that Galaxy FC won the maiden edition last year. They defeated Mourinho FC by 4-2 on penalties after 1-1 at the end of regulation time. And of course, Peace FC of Oka finished third in that one. And we equally told you that there are fixtures also coming up today. There will be matches for tomorrow, and there will be matches on Sunday in continuation of the One Feed Unity Cup being bankrolled by Onitsha ex-footballers in diaspora. Also on the show, the first half, we told you that Rangers International is all gearing up to take on Heartland FC in match day 7 of the Nigeria Professional Football League. The MPFL is the Oriental Derby. We told you that is upon us. Rangers International of Enugu, the Flying Antelopes, are set to take on Heartland FC for where fondly called the Nesi Millionaires. It will be happening this Sunday by 4 p.m. at the Oka City Stadium. And of course, the Rangers International yesterday lost to Lobby Stars narrowly by 2-1, and that was at the Lafia City Stadium, the adopted ground of our Lobby Stars. And Rangers are already on the road, getting back to Enugu to prepare for their cracker on Sunday against the Heartland FC. I think it's the first Oriental Derby of the ongoing 2023-2024 Nigeria Premier Football update. We equally told you about Asamoah Gyan, the Ghanaian captain, who's been asked by the court to actually give his ex-wife some of his assets, one of which is a petrol station, a house, and equally other stuffs are attached to it. We equally told you about Fernando Alonso in Formula One. I beg your pardon, how he's not a happy man right now. And then we equally told you about Caster Semenya, who says she's no longer interested in medals, but to fight at the decision of the World Athletics. And she is amongst one of the players, one of the athletes that have this syndrome, hyperandrogenism. That's some elevated level of testosterone that helps in muscle and strength, especially when you talk about a sport. So Caster Semenya wants to take up that cause to fight their case, and also the case of other athletes who may have such similar issue. Now, let's move on the show. Let's talk about a Liverpool player, talking about Luis Diaz. The Colombian government says that the father of Liverpool footballer Luis Diaz was kidnapped by left-wing rebels of the National Liberation Army, the ELN. And Luis Manuel Diaz was seized at a gunpoint along with his wife on Saturday. It may interest you to know. And the player's mother was left behind in a car by the kidnappers as police closed in. But the government dragged away his father, and hundreds of police and soldiers have been deployed to free him. Police had originally said that a criminal gang was most likely to blame. But on Thursday, a government delegation, which is currently engaged in peace talks with the rebel group, said that it had official knowledge that the kidnapping had been carried out by a unit belonging to the ELN. The ELN is Colombia's main remaining active guerrilla group. It has He's been fighting for the state since 1964 and has an estimated 2,500 members. We hear it is most active in the border region with Venezuela, where Luis Manuel Diaz and his wife, Silenius Maralanda, lives out there in that country. So, but we hope that he will be released so that Luis Diaz will be a happy man and continue with his career. Of course, he's taking some leave of absence in the last game for Liverpool. He didn't play for Liverpool, and the fans, equally the players, of course, showed sympathy for his present condition, and he has been left out of the squad right now due to family issues, and he needs to recover. And of course, I will pray for the release of the father of Luis Diaz. And moving elsewhere, let's tell you that Brazil forward Rodrigo has signed a new extension to his contract at Real Madrid until 2028 with a reported release clause of 1 billion euros. The 22-year-old has scored 39 goals in 179 games for Real Madrid, and also has 18 Brazil cap. And the forward joined the La Liga club at age 18 from Brazilian side Santos, and during his time at Real Madrid he has won 2 La Liga titles at the Copa del Rey, the UEFA Champions League, and the European Super Cup, and equally the Club World Cup. He was included in Brazil's 2022 World Cup squad, making 5 appearances in Qatar for his team. Rodrigo's international teammate Vinicius Jr. also extended his contract with the club until 2027. Earlier this week we hear, and now he has extended his deal, and we'll hear that there is a release clause attached to his deal worth as much as 1 billion euros. He's just 22 years of age, and a man that has scored 39 goals in 179 appearances for Real Madrid, and also has 18 Brazil caps just at the age of 22, and he still has many years to play professional football. And the case of Rodrigo, the forward out there, wish him all the very best, not just for Real Madrid, and also in his career as he continues to progress. We'll continue to follow up on that story in weeks and months to come as regards the Brazil forward who plays for Real Madrid in the person of Rodrigo. Now, moving away from that, let's come back home and talk about this one coming up, and the one fight ultimate night coming down to occur on Sunday. at the Oma Event Center and XFIT just close to us. And let's tell you that all is now set. All is now set for the one fight ultimate solution fight night 3. Of course, at the mixed martial arts event, the first of its kind, is bankrolled by Chief Ife Kando Obudo, the founder and CEO of One Fight Ultimate OFU and zonal representative of Kickboxing Federation of Nigeria for the Southeast Zone. There will be 6 fights scheduled for this Sunday at the XFIT and Oma Event Center, kickstarting by 6 p.m. and you can see the fights on your screen. And of course, you can see that one out there. Ambrose Godwin expected to take on Godwin, known as a big name, is expected to take on Melvin Ugochukwu, African sniper. We also have Christopher Molly. Yes, Christopher Molly will be also fighting come Sunday out there in the One Fight night coming up this Sunday, and it's a big one coming up out there. Some of the key fighters you can see on your screen right now, and of course I will have the women part of the divide also featuring some part of that fight coming up this Sunday at the Oma Event Center. Let's also tell you that Christopher Molly, Christopher will take on Ebenezer Imbru of DR. Ebenezer Imbru, known as the Dragon. Christopher Molly is of the DR Congo. And also, let's tell you that for the women, Talumena Gertrude Doss, known as the Woman King from Nigeria, is expected to take on Rebecca Amongi known as Rebecca, who is from Burkina Faso. In other fights, I will have Ken Boton is expected to take on Jean-Eudes Gagnon, and that's from DR Congo also, while the Nigerian fighter in the person of Chukwu Emerie Okoli will take on Jean-Jacques Lubaya of Rwanda in another fight. Elsewhere, we'll have Daniel Iwoha, known as Danny the Great, is expected to fight Philemon Bitrus Jeb, known as Captain Hook, also on Sunday. So those are the fights coming up. 6 fights to be precise. In the One Fight Ultimate, the OFU fight being bankrolled by Chief Ife Kando Obudo, the founder and CEO of the One Fight Ultimate. Is the first of its kind coming to Anambra State. He has held twice in Lagos, and he wants to bring it down home. So it's mixed martial art coming to Oka this weekend, Sunday to be precise, by 6 p.m. at the XFIT and Oma Event Center. Try and be there and experience the best of its fight. It's similar to what you see in the UFC out there, where you get to see people like the likes of Brock Lesnar once featured, the likes of Cain Velasquez, and we have our own Nigerians there, Israel Adesanya and Kamaru Usman. They are fighting in the UFC, and that UFC, the mixed martial arts form, is what we're expecting to see in Okakom this Sunday by 6 p.m. It will start by 6 p.m. Remember, the Oma Event Center and XFIT will be hosting this one day. One Fight Ultimate Fight Night 3. One Fight Ultimate OFU Solution Fight Night 3. It is called bankrolled by Chief Obudo this Sunday by 6 p.m. from 6 p.m. at the XFIT and Oma Event Center. Be there and see mixed martial arts in action. And before we get time for us to check out the league fixtures across Western Europe, let's start with France. In France, PSG will take on Montpellier later today in the league out there in France. Elsewhere, it's Lorient taking on Lens. Marseille is at home to Lille, and Lyon is expected to trade tackles with Metz, and Nantes will play Reims. Strasbourg is at home to Clermont-Foot, and Le Havre is on the road to Toulouse. And Monaco, the Principality Club, will take on Brest, while Nice is at home to Rennes. In Germany, Darmstadt will take on Bochum later tonight by 8:30. FC Cologne will play Augsburg. It's Freiburg taking on Borussia Mönchengladbach. Bayer Leverkusen is on the road to Hoffenheim. Mainz will take on RB Leipzig, and Union Berlin is at home to Eintracht Frankfurt. Borussia Dortmund will welcome Bayern Munich. It is the star match of the week in Germany. Borussia Dortmund, they play at the Signal Iduna Park. They will take on Bayern Munich. Wolfsburg is at home to Werder Bremen, and FC Heidenheim will take on VfB Stuttgart. In Italy, Bologna will take on Atalanta, or rather, Bologna will take on Lazio tonight in the Italian Serie A, and Salernitana will take on Napoli. Atalanta is at home to Inter Milan. AC Milan will host Udinese. Verona is at home to Monza, and Cagliari will trade tacos with Genoa. While elsewhere also, let's tell you that AS Roma will take on Lecce. Fiorentina will host Juventus. Empoli is traveling to Frosinone, while Torino is at home to Sassuolo. In Spain, the La Liga will be back on Friday. That's today. Las Palmas will take on Atletico Madrid. Is Osasuna hosting Girona. Real Betis is at home to Real Mallorca, and Celta Vigo is at home to Sevilla. Elsewhere, Real Sociedad will welcome Barcelona, who hope to bounce back from the defeat to Real Madrid. And Deportivo Alaves will take on Almeria, and Valencia at the Mestalla will take on Granada. Real Madrid will host Rayo Vallecano. Getafe at the Coliseum Alfonso Perez will host Cadiz, while Athletic Bilbao will travel to El Madrigal, and Villarreal hosting that one is Villarreal hosting Athletic Bilbao. In England, of course, the lunchtime kickoff is Fulham taking on Manchester United, and not 12:30, 1:30. There's a time change right now in England. Usually happens during the first week of November, and now it's the time change. So Premier League matches you watch for 12:30 will now be 1:30. One day matches you watch for 3 p.m. will now hold by 4 p.m. and the games that you see by 5:30 will now hold by 6:30. So just to repeat, matches you now watch in the Premier League usually from 12:30 will now happen by 1:30, while the ones for 3 p.m. will start by 4 p.m. and the ones for 5:30 will now kick off by 6:30 p.m. So it's a time change in England. It usually happens in the first week of November. Fulham is at home to Manchester United. Manchester United, recall, lost in the League Cup, and that was on Wednesday to Newcastle United, and we hope they bounce back when they take on Fulham at the Craven Cottage in the Premier League. That's one for 1:30 tomorrow. Brentford will take on West Ham United. That match is for 4 p.m. tomorrow. Burnley is at home to Crystal Palace. Everton will host Brighton and Hove Albion. Manchester City is at home to Bournemouth. Sheffield United will take on Wolverhampton Wanderers. Newcastle United will play Arsenal. Arsenal lost to West Ham United, and that's on Wednesday in the League Cup. And of course, they will hope to bounce back against Newcastle United in their match. And Nottingham Forest will trade tackles with Aston Villa. Luton Town is at home to Liverpool, and Tottenham Hotspur will take on Chelsea to wind off the week. Tottenham Hotspur Chelsea, what a cracker. We expect that to watch on Sunday in the English Premier League. A Monday edition of Sports Splash will be talking about the aftermath of these matches that will come up this weekend. That's the program for this Friday. Thanks a lot for being part of Sports Splash, talking sports Monday down to Friday. And of course, the show takes a break, and we'll come back on Monday for another fresh edition. My name is Ike Nwokede, and remember to be there at Oka City Stadium on Sunday when Rangers International will take on Heartland SC in Match Day 7 program of the Nigeria Premier League. Have a lovely weekend, and bye-bye now.